Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Today, we're going to take a look at a Mokuba-inspired deck since we just had the Mokuba event within Duel World. And my goodness, there were some really good cards that you were able to get in here, and I could see the big play combo potential with different dragon decks. I know dragons are starting to be a little bit on the decline now, especially since they've been coming out with a whole lot of anti-dragon cards within the Crimson Kingdom box set, especially with your cards like Buster Blader and your Dark Paladin, and pretty much the whole Buster Blader suite of cards that are just dragon destroyers. I've actually had quite a few instances where I've been going up against those types of decks, and they've just been absolutely brutal. But hey, that's a good thing. I'd like to see these ebbs and flows within Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. But what I want to do is just go through this Mokuba-inspired deck that I built, just based off of the cards that, or they were. A lot of the big featured cards within this deck are from the Mokuba rewards that have been dropped. Hopefully, for those of you who weren't able to get enough copies of the cards that you wanted, hopefully we'll be getting Mokuba back again, hopefully sooner than later, because these were some pretty good super rares and a really good ultra rare that were drop potential. So without further ado, let's just take a look at some of the cards. I'm going to start off with the ultra rare here. It's Darkflare Dragon. If you're not familiar, it's the level 5 dragon with 2400 attack and 1200 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. Once per turn, you can send one dragon type monster from your hand and one dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target one card in either graveyard and banish that target. So this effect, not just the special summon effect here, where you don't need to waste your normal summon or anything like that, but or waste a tribute to get this monster out here. My apologies, but not just that first effect, but that second effect really comes into play in more than one way, and I'll explain that in a minute with these combo plays that you're able to get off. But anyway, the next card I have in here is Red Eyes Wyvern. Just because I can, it's just a really strong monster. It's a level 4 dragon, 1800 attack, 1600 defense. During your end phase, if you did not normal summon or set a monster this turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard and special summon one Red Eyes monster from your graveyard, except Red Eyes B Chick. So this deck, I don't run Red Eyes in it right now, just because Red Eyes Wyvern is a great card for Red Eyes decks, but just for now, because this deck, I'm running Peak Performance as my skill, which allows you to start the duel with a card that helps boost your dragon type monsters by 200 attack and 200 defense. It just makes sense to have Red Eyes Wyvern in here, regardless of whether it's a Red Eyes deck or a Blue Eyes deck or a Darkfire deck. It doesn't matter. This is just an 1800 attack dragon, which would be boosted to 2000 attack dragon because of Peak Performance, and it's just all around a great card. Can't complain. So next here we got 2 copies, because that's all I have right now, of Blue Dragon Summoner. It's the level 4 spellcaster with 1500 attack, 600 defense. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one dragon, warrior, or spellcaster type normal monster from your deck to your hand. So the purpose of this card is to really just get destroyed from the field and sent to the graveyard, or I could use it as tribute material and its effect will still activate. And then I'll be able to search out a Blue Eyes White Dragon, or even if you want to search a Red Eyes, or even if you're not doing a dragon deck and you have a Dark Magician or something in there, just any normal card that fits those descriptions, you'll be able to search out. But in this deck, I'm using it to search out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Anyway, next I got 1 copy, because it's all I have, of Divine Dragon Apocryph. And it's a level 4 dragon, 1000 attack, 1500 defense. Once per turn, you can discard one card, then target one dragon type monster in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. So I kind of like this effect. It's pretty much the dragon version of Monster Reincarnation, if you've seen that card within the TCG, where you discard one card to bring a monster back from your graveyard to your hand. But I know this is more general and more specific with bringing a dragon card back to your hand. But in this deck, dragons are all I have except for Blue Dragon Summoner. But everything else in this deck are all dragons. No, not dancing around this one. But yeah, this is a great card. I think a lot of people are not too thrilled about this super rare, but I can see that it's It has some potential in certain scenarios. I'm only probably going to keep it to one, even if I get more copies of this. This is just not the best card in the world, but hey, it's really good, and it's a dark type, in case you want it in your graveyard if you're trying to special summon out your Darkflare Dragon. So, anyway, also I run a copy of Flamvell Grunica, level 4 dragon, 1700 attack, 200 defense. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the level of the destroyed monster times 200. Because it's a dragon, it's going to have a 1900 attack because of peak performance. It's going to be sitting out there, it's going to be running over some of your opponent's weaker monsters, but then also inflicting extra effect damage because of its effect. So anyway, on to the other centerpiece of this deck, courtesy of Mokuba and Mokuba's great drops. I actually am fortunate enough to have 3 copies of Kidmono Dragon. It's the level 3 dragon, 100 attack, 200 defense, and this is just your all-around facilitator card. This thing is outstanding. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Dragon-type monster from your hand. You cannot special summon monsters except Dragon-type monsters, nor conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect of Kidmono Dragon once per turn. So, its effect is not really that much of a drawback when you're looking at the secondary part, because what I like to do is I like to set a Kidmono Dragon on the field in defense position, have my opponent attack Kidmono and send it to the graveyard, thus activating its effect, and hopefully special summoning from my hand either a Darkflare Dragon or a Blue Eyes White Dragon if I have either of those within my hand. And that whole can't conduct your battle phase thing doesn't apply to you because it's your opponent's turn. So your next turn, you're able to use your battle phase, which is really, really good. So yeah, Kidmono Dragon is great. This is kind of your major combo piece, because what I was mentioning earlier about Darkflare Dragon is that you can activate its secondary effect, where you send one Dragon type monster from your hand and one Dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard to target one card in either player's graveyard and banish it. But what this does by sending one Dragon type monster from your hand and one from your deck is, say you don't have a Kidmono Dragon in your hand, but you got a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand and some other dragons. Discard one of the other dragons from your hand and then destroy one of your Kidmono Dragons from your deck. Its effect activates, thus you being able to special summon your Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand without even having to put your Kidmono Dragon on the field or have it in your hand at the time. That's why this Darkflare Dragon, Kidmono Dragon combo is absolutely lethal for just about any dragon deck. Seriously, I mean, this thing is great. So that's kind of the basic combo play that you're able to do in more than one way. But this is why I've been so excited about building this Mokuba deck, and I've been playing around with it. And yeah, it's not the best deck in the world, but this combo play can be, it could really spiral out of control for your opponent. Your opponent's not going to like it. But anyway, yeah, moving on here, we got some more cards. I like to run 3 copies of Mirage Dragon. It's a level 4 dragon, 1600 attack, 600 defense. Your opponent cannot activate trap cards during the battle phase. The other reason why I like Mirage Dragon is because it is a light dragon monster, and this definitely meets one of the requirements for your Darkflare Dragon special summon. So having this Mirage Dragon in the graveyard, that definitely helps you out in more ways than one. So, and of course its effect is just really, really good in the first place. This is one that you could get from the card trader, so keep an eye out if you haven't picked up any copies yet. It's just a rare, so it's not the most costly. I think it costs about 15,000 gold and so many light jewels and all that stuff, but yeah, not bad at all. Next, I also run 2 copies of Spirit Ryu. It's a level 4 Wind Dragon, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. You can only activate this effect during your battle step, if this card battles during your turn. Discard one Dragon-type monster from your hand to the graveyard to increase the attack and defense of this card by 1,000 points until the end step. So, if you got a clean shot to your opponent, and this is your it's your turn, you got a few dragon cards in your hand. So say, for example, you have 3 other dragon cards in your hand, and your Spirit Ryu is on the field. Your opponent has 4,000 life points. You got a clean shot. Yeah, just activate the effect 3 times. Boost the attack up to, I would say 4,000, but because it's peak performance on the field, it would be 4,200. And just attack for game. There's different situations where Spirit Ryu does come in handy. This is kind of, for me, it's more of those back against the wall type of situation things. If I have if I'm going up against a really strong monster, and I don't have necessarily my combo plays where I could get a Blue Eyes onto the field or a Darkfire Dragon, I'll just utilize Spirit Ryu in that regard and hopefully just try and punch my way out of things. Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss, but it's still not a bad card at all. Last but not least, as far as dragons are concerned, I have 2 copies, but I do run my 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon, trying to get the 3rd one. So, 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense, plain vanilla normal card. That's why I like to run this one. It's searchable by using Blue Dragon Summoner, and, come on, you're talking about a Mokuba deck in the Kaiba family. You gotta have some Blue Eyes in this deck. So, anyway, that's just the structure of this dragon deck, this Mokuba-inspired deck. I hope you guys like this one, or hope you guys have done something similar. If you have, let me know. Let me know what kind of deck you built. Let me know what kind of changes you've made to this style deck, or if you've been having a lot of success with it, or if you've just been having a lot of fun playing with it. I know I have. But anyway, I'd like to hear about your deck builds and what you've done with your Mokuba drops. Reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk. And I'd love to revisit this type of deck in the future, or to talk a little bit about some of your builds. But I'd love to bring it up in a future podcast episode. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Take care.